Native hens and their conservation work in Estonia. We started the work with looking for native hens, of course, by looking at native hens in the neighboring countries. And for Estonia, the closest neighbor is then Finland and Sweden, whom they have had also a lot of contacts during historical times. So by knowing these native hens in Sweden and Finland, we were also able to know what we were looking for in Estonia. In postcards, in old postcards, we can also find pictures of native hens, but we are not sure that they are actually being brought in Estonia. Anyway, we found a lot of nice looking native hens. For example, this one, mother hen with some small chickens. You can see that the chickens have different colors. In books, we also found illustrations and descriptions of native hens. On many drawings and paintings, the hens are so small and from a distance that we actually cannot say so much about them. But in others, even if they are not in color or just like drafted as you can see on this drawing, we can anyway say that it's about native hens because we can see the structure, how the hen or the cock is being built up. Like native hens are very compact and they give a round impression. Some old drawings are dated and others are not. This is an old drawing from Estonia. We only know that it's from the 19th century. And you can see here is also one hen and a cock on this picture. Many museums have databases and a lot of pictures and photos have been scanned. Some of them you can find online, and you have always the chance to ask people about, do you have some old photos in your family photo albums? So this Oskar Tammiste was a photograph in Vao village and Väike-Maarja area, and there are a lot of photos and also of animals and children and women working, and especially these two are very nice because you can see that the hens are and chickens are here in different colors, and you can see they have some different patterns as well. And these are really two very nice photos of native hens. There are two different types of native hens that we have found in Estonia, the big native hens and the small native hens. The small hens are also called dwarf hens, but in Estonia they have an old name for them. They are called tiukar, and sometimes people also refer to them as pearl hens. The inventories of native hens in Estonia has been carried out on voluntary basis. So there is actually no authority or no research institute that are supporting us in this work. Finding the first population was very important, and they were found at Vormsi Island. A Finnish woman, Aura Koivisto, gathered the first native hens that she could recognize as native. She got them from two different places at the island, and it was one old woman and one old man who were keeping these. She was then keeping them for several years, and when she had to stop keeping them, she left them at another local farm. Some few days later, we called to check up on them and asked if they were left, and at that point it was only left 3 of them. So we were traveling to the islands and bought these 3 hens, and we got the first conservation farm and gene bank that was established on the mainland of Estonia when these Vormsi 3 hens were rescued. So the male, the cock, we had to take from another population. And In the start, Vormsi hens were very diverse, and I'm now showing some photos of them, like this. Some white ones also, with some marks in black or darker color. You can see here the male in the middle, and in their natural habitat outdoors on the manure pit. Also brown ones, brownish golden ones and white ones, grayish. And here are some cocks and some hens, a hen with a small chicken. And they could look like this. Some younger ones here as well. And here. In the end then, we had only two that were more light or white, nearly white, one with white and some black dots, and one totally white and one with a little brownish on it. So with these three, we actually started the work, and then a hen cook as well. And here you can see also then the hens and this first male that was brought into the conservation. Later on then we have managed to get back all these. So even if they look very single colored, then in their DNA they had this broad spectrum there. And some eggs of this population. Another population died out due to a predator attack. You can see the diverse colors here on this photo. Let's have more looks of them. You can see ones. This looks like this pearl hen. It's a big one, not a small one. That the predators took were the big ones. And ready for the evening to go to sleep. Here types as well. We have also found several native hen populations where the owners were not interested in sharing animals from it, or they could not tell us from where they have got them. So it's not so that all are very happy if you meet them and tell that most likely you have some native hens. And here, these are from southern Estonia. Different. And the small chickens also looks different. Here, one more photo of the southern Estonian population. Well hiding under mom's wing. This population was discovered by an accident. So I read a newspaper article about hen that had hatched small chicken in November, and I think even in early December, so it was really cold and it has already started to snow. And she was hatching them outdoors under a bush. And then suddenly she had come in running with all her small hatched chicken with her. And for me, it was kind of an alarm signal or bell ringing that nobody else would do this, only a native hen. And very true, there was a lot of different colors, a lot of different types in this hen group. And some of them we into preservation, but it's very typical that the founder populations which are found are not possible to take under conservation. So animals from these has to be brought onto farms that are willing to carry out the conservation work and understand what it means. When native hens are found, many of the founder populations are, the owners are old. Many of them don't even manage to catch their hens. So it can be difficult even to buy some animals out of their. Usually native hen in Estonia are closed up for the night because the predator attack risk is so big, so you have to gather them for the night indoors. And that's of course when it would then be possible also to catch some if you would like to buy some or if the owner is willing to sell them. Different shades of brownish colors on the eggs in this population. Perhaps the most exciting was finding a jungle of diversity at one farm. The keeper was keeping the hens, and they were both dwarfed ones and big ones. It is so that some of these big hens have the gene that gives a rise to the dwarfed gene. So these big native hens can give small dwarfed hens, but not the opposite. So the dwarfed hens, they cannot give born to big hens back again. So it's like in one direction. So this population that we found, that huge diversity of animals, both small ones, something I never seen before, of course. And they were freely roaming in the garden. They were sleeping in a dense tree. And I was told that only in the springtime, when it starts to get a little bit warmer, then indoors. Otherwise, they were like themselves outside most of the time. There was a lot of memories of the small pearl hens, also called tiuker in Estonian. So we knew about them, that there should be some left, and find them. Many of them have these pearl markings. The hens, here you can see a typical cook, how the small dwarf ones look like. And the male. And again, some cooks here. A mother hen who was eager to escape. A small dwarfed hen with small chickens. And very quickly running and hiding themselves. And the colors of the eggs. In many places we found only one or few left. So typically an old woman keeping chicken and had perhaps only one old hen, and the rest were of new breeds. And here a photo of one. It was a small dwarfed cook that were found in one place. One single, this kind looking of hen. Another old lady had only 3 chicken left, whereas only one was of the old type, the black one. Here you can see her with some small chicken. A photo of the very small chicken. Here a photo to compare the dwarfed native hens and large native hens in the background. so you understand and can see the difference in the size. The small dwarfed chickens are actually considered to be quite bothering to keep because they are so small, and they usually can escape cages if you try to put them there. And many people doesn't want to have any more chicken running freely, so roaming freely in the yard, because they make it dirty. And if you have also a yard with vegetables or flowers, then the hens may disturb in that one. But it's not necessary. So if you have enough space for them, they will make their living and also find their own food for the most. But all native hens have to be fed also with some cereals and some residuals from vegetables or from your kitchen. And the conservation work, the work on looking for native hens is still ongoing in Estonia, and still there is no national conservation program for them, only this on freely basis, a group of volunteer people that are working with them. The biggest problem is that there is no support. So it's such a hard work to do, and it costs a lot also to drive around and try to find, or at least when somebody are telling you that there are some native hens somewhere, to go there and check out if they really are. And of course, then if you have to move them away from the original place due to perhaps that the owner is too old, then you have also to have somebody that is ready to take them and keep them. So often the problem is that to get support from other countries where there are native hens is that many persons are not perhaps speaking English. So you have immediately this border language border barrier between the countries in order to get help for preservation of rare breeds. If the country is a bigger country, then perhaps you have a department or perhaps a person who is responsible for genetic diversity in your country, and you could ask for help there. In some countries also, researchers at bigger universities have been eager to assist and help and also participate in the conservation work of native breeds, but that's not the case in all countries. So Estonia is still a very small country, and the knowledge about, for example, native hens, it is still limited. There is no written information about them. And in Sweden, they have been writing an excellent handbook for native hens and native hen keepers, but that is, of course, then based on the Swedish populations, and it could be used also in other countries as a handbook, but that one is in Swedish and has not been translated into other languages. So still the conservation work will continue on voluntary basis, and this will result in that a lot of the genetic diversity that we have for the moment still there in Estonia, it is disappearing. A few advice then on the conservation work, if you can notice that there are genetic diversity in your home country and you would like to help to organize the conservation work. Of course, the first thing is to find persons who would like to keep native hens and form an organization. It can be also only a network, so it hasn't to be in the start and registered organization. You start to make inventories to get a larger founder population of native hens. You have also to think about, should you put them all into one group, or if some are looking very much different from others should you try to preserve them as two different separate populations. You should make descriptions of your native hens, and you should collect statistics about your native hens. And then you should write a conservation program for your native hens. I think there are many countries around here in the world who have native hen conservation programs, and by looking at them you get an idea about how it could look in your countries. Then most likely you could try to get it recognized as a breed, or you could try to get the authorities to establish a national conservation program for them. You could carry out DNA analysis and compare it with other close located native hens. And then you have to educate the native hen keepers and spread information about native hens on fairs, open air museums, exhibitions, and in schools. And it would be really nice to get also the researchers interested in making research on them. This is all needed in order for you to preserve your native hen.